Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at Utrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our CURT Premium Hanging Style Bike Rack right here on our 2012 Volkswagen Routan. So the CURT Premium is what I consider the most family friendly of our bike racks, just because of the way it's designed to help out with your children's bikes. It has that unique frame where it's narrow on this side, because with other bike racks with two arms, it can be tricky to maneuver those children's frames around those arms. This makes it a little bit easier. You can also get it as a 4 or a 5 bike version, depending, well, on how many bikes you have. So what I have here is the 4 bike version. It basically looks the exact same as a 5 bike, just a little bit longer for the 5 bike, and obviously more cradles with that one. All right, we'll take a look at how our bike is mounted to this bike rack. We have 1, 2, and 3 mounting points. This third mounting point is going to be our anti-sway cradle. So notice with that mounted there, it's holding it tight. And we'll take this third one away by pulling on that strap and releasing it from the tab. And we now have a lot more sway with that Disengage. So definitely an important feature to use. Now we have these straps, they just pull and then release from those tabs. Takes a little bit of effort, but not that much. Nothing too crazy that I can't handle. All right, with those 3 mounting points removed though, we can then lift our bike up and just bring them through our frame. So notice how it's just a little bit more narrow on these closer cradles. That's because if you have your children's bikes frames, this makes it so much easier to use and bring through. Okay, I'm just gonna leave my bike over here to the side, right there. That way we can take a closer look at the bike rack itself. So we have this cradle, and notice how the cradle can be pivoted to accommodate your different shapes of frames. This allows you to get the best fit for your bike. So then you can move it here, you can put it here. It takes a little bit of effort since it's a rubber strap. So compared to Yakima's bike racks that use zip strips that are kind of easier to use, this takes a little bit more effort. But on the other side, I also like that because then I can determine the fit on my bike. All right, so we have 4 cradles here. So we'll take some measurements just to see how it works. With the cradles distance from each other, center to center, they sit about 5 inches apart. Obviously, you have a little bit more distance on your larger cradles and your smaller cradles. So notice how it shapes to be closer together towards the end. The 5 bike version still has the 2, I would like to say 2 adult cradles, and then 3 kids cradles. So if you want to have it up on like this, it's going to add some length to the back of your vehicle. We'll take some measurements to see exactly how much. I'm going to measure from my bumper to those reflectors on the end, and it sits at about 35 inches of length added to the back of our Volkswagen. So it's a lot of length, but you are carrying around a lot of bikes. If you want the 5 bike version, just add 5 inches to that measurement. And just remember that measurement whenever you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a tight spot. Don't forget that you have bikes as well as a bike rack behind you. What you can do is, when you have your bikes off, you can make this a little bit more compact. So you have this clip over here. You're going to remove that clip in order to remove this pin. You may need to kind of lift up on the arms just to get that tension out. Then this folds down, and then put that pin and that clip right back where you took it out of. Right there. That clip secures it. Just push it into place. There we go. Okay, so this is now the compact or the portable position. You'll have in this position when you're just planning on driving around town, or let's say your garage doesn't have enough space for your bike rack in the up position, especially since this is a larger vehicle. It doesn't fit in some of your smaller garages. So we'll take some measurements. The first is going to be closest point. That's going to be from this bumper to right where that lever is. It sits at about 3.5 inches. Now length added to the back of our vehicle is going to be from that bumper to the furthest point, and that sits at 11.5 inches. So big difference compared to when the arms were folded up. You'll definitely want it in this position if you want to make it a bit more compact. Also, when you want to store your bike rack, you'll have it folded down like this. Now, with it folded up, what if I want to access my hatch or lift my hatch door? What I can do is I can tilt this bike rack away, but it's a little bit of a process. So if you come closer, you'll be able to see what you need to do. So you're going to have a clip on this side. Just remove that clip in order to remove that pin. Now if that's tight, what you need to do is loosen it right over here with this knob in the back. So you can see here, I have this knob. We're just going to loosen that just enough to get some clearance there in order to pull this pin out of the way. Let it drop because it has a string. Then you have this knob over here on top. So once you lift that knob, you'll now be able to tilt that bike rack down. Just like that. And then we're going to leave that tilted down because now you can see how we definitely have clearance between our door and our bike rack, allowing us to fully open up our hatch, get into our trunk, grab whatever we need. So whether it's our bags, our helmets, our waters, we can get all of them without having to uninstall the bike rack. Now you will have to take your bikes off, so that's still going to be some time you're going to have to consider. If you want a bike rack that can tilt away with your bikes on, that would be some of our platform rack options, like the CURT Transfer V2 bike rack. You can tilt that away with bike racks on, but that's going to be a little bit more pricey as well as heavier, and you can't get 5 bikes on there like you can with this one. So you have your pros and cons of your different types of bike racks. Now don't forget to tighten this knob back down because this is what's holding your mast stable in the upright position. Okay, so with it like this, let's talk about what it's like living with a bike rack behind your vehicle. Notice how our rear window is completely visible. Now this does sit up kind of right where your windshield wipers are, but you can still see everything out of your rear view mirror. Our taillights are visible as well, right over there. Now, our backup camera is offset towards the driver's side and sits right where that cradle sits too. So that's going to be something worth considering. You'll be able to see out of your backup camera. You'll be able to see the cars behind you, but you will also see your bike rack behind you. You can't really lower this to get out of position, so that's just something you're going to have to live with a bike rack behind you. Your license plate is kind of covered, but mainly visible if that's going to be a big issue. But let's talk about how this fits into our hitch. What we have is a 2-inch shank, so you have to make sure that you have a 2-inch hitch receiver on your car. What I put here is our Utrailer hitch alignment collar. That way we install it the first time, then we can get this lined up and see every time where we need to tighten down. Notice how we have a bolt in place. So you can use the tools that are included, or you can do what I do, which is I use a 3/4 inch socket wrench just to tighten that down. Just so much easier that way. But anyways, with that anti-rattle bolt installed, especially using the socket, once you have that in place and tightened down, you can see how as I shake our bike rack, especially by the shank, which is where you'll get the most movement, even our car is moving around. We do have a little bit of movement here, but that's just because I didn't tighten down this knob in the back all the way. So if you do feel movement with your CURT Premium, that's something to look at to tighten down first. Although your anti-rattle makes sure that your bike rack is secure with your hitch receiver. Alright, so my personal thoughts about this bike rack is if you're looking to carry a lot of bikes, I would definitely go with this, especially if you have your smaller children's bikes with you, or if you have bikes with different size frames that need frame adapter bars, because those limit the space inside the frame to fit around your arms. You don't get as premium features as you would get with your other hanging racks though. If you're looking for more comfort for your bikes, I guess, maybe take a look at the Yakima Ridgeback. That can come as a 5-bike version, I believe, and you have zip strips, you have cushions on those. It is a little bit pricier, but then you can also add a lock and things like that. We also have cable locks here at Utrailer. Those hook right into the back of your bike rack and help secure your bikes as you're on the road. But other than that, again, if you're looking for an affordable bike rack that will allow you to carry a lot of bikes and get the job done, keeping them safe from point A to point B, this might be a good option for you. So this was a look at the CURT Premium Bike Rack right here on our 2012 Volkswagen Routan.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which will see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.